Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Jay, and in this video we're continuing the journey to build out my dream workshop. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then go back and check out the first video in the series where we built the frame of my shed, which I'm now converting into a crafting workshop. In this video I'm going to show you two things. The first one is my attempts to insulate this room. Now I will remind everyone watching, I am no building expert. If I've messed anything up, it's best endeavours, I'm doing my level best. The second thing I'll show you at the end of the video then, very briefly, is what my room might look like when it's finished. I've done a very simple 3D render, which I'll explain, which kind of shows you the layout that we're working towards. So let's not mess around, let's hand over to Jay from the past and get on with that insulation work. Hello and welcome back to the shed. So I am going to be chipping away at the insulation this week. That's the next job. You can see all the boards behind me and the voids that I'm going to fill. So I'm going to be starting with these upright panels, of which there are, I think there's 14 or something like that. I have to recount it around the room. And I have worked out how I can slice these boards up to try and effectively take up or to maximise the amount I can get from the sheets, basically. So I'm chipping away at it this week. It's currently Monday evening, just after work. I'm going to do an hour or so a night and see how far I get, and then hopefully finish the ceilings and everything and expanding foam away by kind of close of day Saturday. So hopefully by starting early I can chip away at it and kind of make good progress. So I'll do little updates as we go, otherwise it'll be just time lapses of me pottering around kind of in and out of this room, cutting boards on the lawn, making the most of the sunshine, and then and then sort of loose fitting them into place. Well, as tight as they go, depends how badly I cut them, but we'll see. So yeah, I'll keep you posted. I'll give you little updates as I go, and yeah, let's get insulating. So, quick progress update. I'm really going about, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes tops. I've got the big panels on the walls. There you go. I'm going to turn it around. Some more down there. So these ones at the end that you can see here, they're slightly narrower than these standard boards. So I'm going to measure those up now and fill those voids. And then I've got offcuts that I'm hoping should fit neatly into those. I've got a board waiting to go in there. I'm just using it for length. Yeah, so I might just aim to get the walls done this evening and then maybe come back tomorrow night and work on some of the odder shapes. There you go. Keep you posted. Okay, I'm pretty happy. Lower boards under the windows are in. Rest of the room, walls are in. And it's only taken me, I don't know, maximum 90 minutes. A bit like building it though, the walls were the easy bit. They were all pretty standard shapes, pretty straightforward. This, hopefully it won't be too bad. I've got this issue of kind of passing over the rafters here. Don't know how that's going to work. And of course there's the bit we had to fudge because of the being sent the wrong bits. That's going to be a little fiddly as well, especially that narrow one. I might have something for that though, for my offcuts. The cleanup job is going to be full on. So I'm going to go and clean that up now, call it a day for night one, day one, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, overall, pretty happy with that. Bear in mind, I've never insulated anything. This is the first time I've worked with this, so I'm probably going to get shouted at for not wearing a mask, which I think I probably should have worn, and glasses. I've got this crap all over me. Most of the boards have gone in well. This one is the only one really where I'm going to have to do some foaming. I think most of the other ones are so tight that it's probably not going to need it. I'll stick some B-roll in as well so you can see how this job looks. But I'm going to get on with cleaning now, which is not the fun bit. It's coming off me already, look. And yeah, I'll see you again for day 2. Okie doke, we are back in the workshop for day 2. As you can see, all the boarding is still up. It is all up. Today, hoping to get the ceiling done. Certainly get the big panels up anyway. It shouldn't be too fiddly, he says. Not quite sure how I'm going to bend it over some of the gaps. And then we've got things like the kind of triangle pieces, and then the awkward bits on the back of the door to do, and then any little voids like this, which again we'll work through. So I'm going to try and do some of the cutting in here to make it easy to clean the mess up, because trying to hoover the garden of all the bits yesterday was a nightmare. I've got a bit more space now that some of these boards are gone. So I'm going to have a quick tidy, try and make this worktop as clear as possible. Maybe some of this will go outside temporarily, and then get cutting. So let's see how we do on day 2. Okay, so that's not taking too long, but it's much fiddlier, and I have butchered a couple of boards in the process. Doesn't matter, I'm pretty confident that the foam when it goes up will fill all of that. But it's just these little noggins, and every one of them is a different size. They're not standard because of the way that we fit them. You know, we didn't fit them wrong, it's just they're just not easy to get around. So you can see there's some spaces up here, but I kind of got a little bit more on the side of fit them loose and foam fill rather than trying to make them too tight like the wall ones, which I don't think will need much foaming, if any at all. So we're now going on to these ones, which are a little bit narrower again. It's going to be the same principle. At least there's only one noggin on each side to have to mess around with. The idea of sliding them over the top just didn't work. There's just not enough flex in them, and there's too much to try and get right. So yep, we're on to the next. I am starting to wonder if I've got way too many boards though. Bear in mind, all I've really got left to do is 2 strips of that and then these back triangles. And I've still got 1, 2, let me have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4 complete boards, and then a whole pile of offcuts down there. So I might have more than I need. Not the end of the world, because this stuff's really good for kind of model making and terrain. Although not with the plastic backing, it's not ideal, but you could use it. So it's not money wasted. Just might bear that in mind when I order my OSB. So I didn't need as much as the calculations told me. Onwards. Okay, calling it a day on night 2, about 6:10. There's plenty of daylight left to go out, but to be perfectly honest, my cameras have run out of charge, and I've reached a point where I think I need to go and get some sort of adhesive. The issue I've got is that all of these panels so far are pressure fit, as you've probably seen me forcing them in on the videos, and that's worked really well. The problem I've got here is I can't do that because this lip here is not pushing against anything. So when I put the OSB on, it's going to have to kind of create a bit of a line and join it probably just underneath that to the board that goes on the walls, and therefore there's nothing to slot the insulation against. So I need a bit of adhesive just to put on here, I think, so that when I place the board up, it'll just hold. And I've got that situation down here as well, where these ones just need a little bit of that as well. I did manage to do the triangles. I thought those were going to be tricky, but actually it's just some basic maths and they were super easy. Barely an inconvenience for those who watch. So those are up. And I've also done a little bit of the trim work this end. So I just take you down. You can see I've done kind of around the windows. I don't really know what to do here because there's no wood sort of support as a frame. So when I OSB over, I might have to put a piece of trim in or something myself just to create something to attach the OSB to. I don't know what the right way is to do that. If you know, then please do tell me, because I am an amateur. So yes, done it all the way across, all the way down the sides, and then I've started to play around with the door, but then I've realised that I don't really know if I can insulate the door. I guess I'm going to need to. I could certainly put some panels on, but obviously if I insulate it, I've then got to put board over the top of it. And if I put boarding on it, I've got to remove the locks and reposition them. But actually thinking about it, I'm probably going to have to do anyway, aren't I? The only issue will be the door lock, possibly. which I suppose I could cut around. That's what the door lock looks like. So I suppose I could cut around that. So anyway, we're making good progress. I'm really pleased with how far I've managed to get in 2 evenings. It does mean that I've got plenty of time this week now to suss out what to do next. So I'll probably pop to the local DIY store, get some kind of no more nails or something, some sort of adhesive to stick that to the top. And then, yeah, I'm kind of waiting for vapor barrier then. So I'm going to clean up my mess, call it a night for today, and then my next job will be to tackle those last couple of roof panels, which should be fairly straightforward. And then, yeah, just so you know, I'm going to fill all the voids where I've created voids with the expanding foam. I think I bought too much of everything now. I've still got 4 full boards of uncut, untouched Celotex. I'm going to use a maximum of 2 of these, I suspect, to get these last few ceiling panels covered. And then I've got all these spares. These offcuts, these will easily do the door, and then these long bits. So I might have maybe a couple of boards left. When I did the calculations with ChatGPT, it was all done. Yes, I did use the AI. it kind of accounted for 10% wastage, and I haven't really wasted much, to be honest. I've tried to use as much as possible to fill these voids. Obviously, I'm not going to use kind of little offcuts like this, and they'll get chucked away. The bigger stuff I'll keep, because this foam's really actually quite useful for crafting, which is what this room's going to be for. So actually being able to sort of have craft projects on the go. Maybe use some of this foam to create some cool terrain or something fun for miniatures. I'm covered in bits again, bloody nightmare. I did use the Stanley knife today rather than the sword. Way easier. So you come to do this, use a Stanley knife. Much, much easier. Anyway. So it's clean-up time for me. That's the end of today's update. I'll let you know when I pick this up next. Cheers. Okay, work has finished for the day. I've set the cameras up, as you can see here, to time lapse again. I have my no more nails for attaching my boards to the ceiling. I'm hoping to get the boards up and maybe get some spray foam down today so that I can cut that back tomorrow and then get on with the vapor barrier. So yeah, that's the plan today. I've also got to try and put just some sort of little batten across here just to keep that separate, which I'm going to try and do as well. So little bits to do today, but hopefully we'll get there and we'll reach spray foaming point. So I think. later. All the roof panels are up. I haven't glued them yet, that's the next job. But they're up all the way across, all the way over here. Some little gaps I'm gonna have to fill with some spray foam. Not too bad, and I've even managed to do the back of the door, which has also gone on really well. So I'm now gonna go around and glue everything, and then probably gonna see if I can get to spray foaming tonight. I might not be able to. I might have to let that glue dry and just come back and spray foam tomorrow, but we'll see. Final update for today. Oh, look, ooh, fluff. I've glued, as you'll have seen from the footage, everything's glued in place now. 20 minutes to set, then I can leave. So I'm stuck in here for now. But I'm not going to do the spray foam tonight. We're starting to lose light now. It's 20 to 7, so I'll be out of here. Well, I can't really do anything until at least 7 o'clock when this is the glue is temporarily hardened. Probably best to give it 24 hours. So I think tomorrow will be spray foam, and then hopefully Friday, Saturday will be cut back the foam, and then start to put the vapor barrier on, which will be exciting because then I can get round to ordering the boarding. So yeah, we're getting there, and I'll keep you updated on progress as we continue. Day 4. Glue is set, everything's looking nice and solid, which is great, and today it is expanding foam day. I think I've overcooked it here. I don't think I'm going to need 4 cans of this. I think maybe 2 at best. Having said that, I've never done it before. There aren't that many voids to fill. The instructions on this stuff are to fill 75% of the void, and it's only a small expansion this stuff creates, but it's fireproof, which will help. I've got gloves this time, I've got a mask this time, which I probably should have been wearing throughout the previous process but didn't, and I've got eye protection. Once I've done this, which should be a relatively quick job today, he says, the next task then will be to just cut the foam back in 24 hours when it's cured, so I can't come back until tomorrow, and then hopefully start to get the vapor barrier up. I have now ordered the wood. I don't know when it will come. I'm waiting for a delivery date. 13 2.4 by 1.2 meter panels of 12mm plywood is what I've gone for. And then that's going to get fit next. Then it's painting, and then it's usable. My bioelectrics, but that can go in whenever. I think I've got to do some ventilation in here as well. I've got to put a couple of vents in low and high, but I'll suss that out once everything's kind of painted. But yeah, so onwards with the next task.
I was born in the darkness, raised by it. I don't know how well that's coming across. Here's a big, I don't know, like poppadom or prawn cracker of foam. I've made quite a mess, but it is all done. I'll try and do some B-roll, which is going to be better than me pointing this camera at myself. For the first time, I'm pretty happy. I've never done this in my life. So this needs 24 hours to set, and then I can cut it back, and then insulation is done. It looks like some sort of alien sex party has gone on in here. It's just, this stuff is everywhere, and you can see where I started my journey and I wasn't so good. And then, you know, where it's gotten better. So I'm going to go take this mask off, get my ass outside, and leave this now secure.
Okay, so as you can see, I kind of ran out of steam with my updates towards the end there. The reason for that is that although I did go on to finish the room in terms of installation preparation, and that was the vapor barrier, the video was already getting quite long. So I'm saving the vapor barrier footage to go with the boarding footage when the new plywood boards turn up. They have been ordered, they're due any time now, but there will be a bit of a break between these videos as I've got some commitments over the next few weekends that mean I simply won't be able to get back in the room to continue these efforts. But we got everything done that we intended. The installation is up, the foaming is done, and as I say, the vapor barrier I'll show you in the next video. What I wanted to do now, just to finish off what is quite a long video, is just to show you some quick footage of a 3D render that I put together. Now, it is super basic. I am not advanced at this. I used an app on my iPad. I was learning as I went along. And what I was really trying to do was understand, with the dimensions of the space and the two worktops that are going to be in there, what will that space feel like? And when I'd done it, I thought, well, why not turn this into a little video that I can use within this content so that you can also see what I'm aiming for. Now, the footage you're seeing on screen is that render. You can see that we've got two worktops in the room. One, which is the workbench that you'll have seen in the footage that I'm moving around, that's on wheels. And the other is the one that is currently in my games room. It's off to the side of me. You don't normally see it in the videos when I'm filming, but if you've watched my room tour, then you'll know what I'm talking about. That 2+ meter length of worktop is also going into the workshop. You can see the rough arrangement. I do plan to have a TV on the wall. I think I've said before, this is going to be a room for mild woodwork, but predominantly for crafting, 3D printing, painting, airbrush, what else, terrain building, all that kind of good stuff. So it's a place that I can do these kind of projects on my own, for my own amusement, but also with my family and my kids who like to make and build things as well. It just gives us a messy space that we can do things and leave overnight, you know, over the course of a week or whatever it might be. I've already found some of that value and that joy in the building process, being able to do bits of the task over the course of several days. So I'm really excited now to get this room done and yeah, finished. In terms of what's left, we've got the vapor barrier I've mentioned. We'll show you that in the next video. I've got my plywood boarding for the walls. Once that's up, I'll need to, I guess, fill any holes or gaps, put in some sort of floor trim, paint the walls, and then I'm basically at the point then when my electrician can come in, which will happen when it happens, to put me some power in and some proper lights. But I can start moving in at that point, which I'm really excited about. So hopefully the next video will show you those last few steps in terms of boarding and painting, and then we'll get to the point then where we can start to move in. So I'll keep you posted. We'll keep things going over the next few weeks. So keep an eye out for those videos and subscribe if you haven't already. Quick reminder for anyone who saw the first build video, you'll notice in that video we also talked about our viewers nominated games of all time, best games of all time, and we were asking you to vote on them. There'll be a link in the description below as a reminder of where you can go to choose your favourite game from the list of those nominated by my viewers, and then I'm going to do a video in a couple of weeks' time to show you who those winners were. So do check those out, and we'll be showing you who the top 5 games were very, very soon. So that's it for me for now. Please be kind in your comments below. As I said, I am not a professional. If I've done something wrong and there's something dangerous in there, then please do let me know. But otherwise, you know, leave the negativity behind. I'm just an amateur trying to build something for himself and enjoying that process. But hopefully you've enjoyed that journey and you'll continue with me on the next few videos as we finish that workshop build. And of course then, once that's built, by the way, then attention turns to the games room, because I'm going to have a whole load of space and some rearranging to do. So if you're interested in seeing how that comes together, let me know, and again, I'll try and film it. Thanks so much for your attention, though, for your comments. subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.